On a cold winter day in Asperen, Holland, a young Anabaptist was running for his life. The year was 1569, and the young man's name was Dirk Willems. In hot pursuit behind him was the thief catcher. The weather had been cold enough to freeze a dangerously thin layer of ice on the water. Most likely the thief catcher would be smart enough not to try to follow him across the thin ice. Dirk was very thin and lightweight because of the poor prison rations that he'd been surviving on for some time before. Dirk made it across, in spite of quite a bit of dangerous cracking in the thin ice. But to his dismay, he saw that the thief catcher was going to try to follow him across. Then it happened. The thief catcher broke through and fell thrashing into the icy water and began to scream for help. Dirk was now free of his pursuer. He could have run on. He could have been free. He could have escaped for his life. And this was precisely what he wanted to do. Wasn't this God's mercy on him and God's way of escape? It surely could seem that way. The desire to run and escape for his life pulsed through every fiber of his being. But then there was another thought that came to his mind. He thought of what the Lord Jesus had said. Love your enemies. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you. I did choose to follow Christ and his teachings no matter what the cost, he thought. Then he thought of the end that he would face if he saved the thief catcher. He would be arrested and no doubt be burnt at the stake because he had gotten baptized as an adult. No, he must run. Such an end was too terrible. But then he thought of another fire, the fires of hell that would soon be the lot of the drowning thief catcher. Eternal fire. He could hear the desperate cries for help still echoing across the ice. Should I disobey my Lord in fear of temporary fire and let this drowning enemy be lost into eternal fire? No, I must not, Dirk resolved. I will obey my Lord Jesus. I will love my enemy. He reversed his course and began to run back toward the ice, back toward his drowning enemy. And in his mind he could hear the words of the Lord Jesus. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless those that curse you, do good to those that hate you. Surely this thief catcher was one that hated him. Dirk carefully worked his way across the ice and was able to rescue the perishing thief catcher. Safe on the shore, but shivering and numb with cold, the thief catcher no longer wanted to catch Dirk. He wanted such a kind, saintly man to be let free, but the burgomaster, which is the mayor, would have none of it. Don't you remember your oath? He barked. There was nothing the thief catcher could do but to arrest Dirk or share in his disfavor. So rather than endangering himself again, he arrested Dirk. Dirk was taken back to prison and at the hands of the Catholics was treated severely and suffered great trials. Finally, he was put to death by being burnt at the stake. He endured his awful death with great steadfastness and confirmed the truth and his genuine faith by his death. He is an instructive example to all devout Christians of this time. Dirk believed on the Lord Jesus and obeyed his teaching to love one's enemies. Will you obey the Lord Jesus like that, no matter what the cost? Or will you join the myriad of excuse makers and still call Jesus your Lord, but you won't do what he says? I challenge you to make up your mind, and no matter what, you will follow Jesus Christ and obey his teachings. Here's one of the things that Jesus taught in Matthew 5, verse 44. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. Will you follow and obey the Lord Jesus like Dirk Willems did?